What's the most satisfying time you've seen a quiet person utterly dismantle an office bully? I worked with a woman named Eleanor, a senior engineer at a sustainable tech firm. Eleanor was brilliant, an absolute wizard with complex algorithms, but incredibly humble. She'd spend hours perfecting her designs, always putting the team first. Her personal passion project was a revolutionary new energy efficiency system for commercial buildings, something she'd been working on for years in her spare time, slowly integrating it into her official work. She had a daughter, Chloe, who was just starting college, and Chloe adored her mom, often helping her proofread papers or just listening to her talk through a tricky problem. Our department head, Richard, was the office equivalent of a peacock, all flash, no substance. He was a master of buzzwords and taking credit. He'd supervise Eleanor's project by asking for daily updates, then rephrasing her cutting-edge ideas as his own in every senior leadership meeting. As the annual Industry Innovation Conference approached, Richard dramatically announced that he would be presenting Eleanor's Richard's Eco Suite, his personal rebranding of her life's work. Eleanor was visibly devastated, but, true to her nature, too professional and non-confrontational to fight him. She just quietly went back to fine-tuning the technical specs that Richard would never understand. The day of the conference arrived. Richard, slick in his tailored suit, swaggered onto the stage, projector slides glowing with his impressive charts and data. He was charming, articulate, and completely superficial. He glossed over the technical complexities with broad strokes and vague promises, clearly just reciting memorized bullet points. Eleanor sat in the audience, looking pale and defeated, next to her daughter Chloe, who had come to support her mom. Chloe, though, looked less defeated and more focused. During the Q&A session, after Richard had finished his self-congratulatory speech, a young woman stood up in the third row. It was Chloe. She held a confident yet polite posture. "Mr. Davies," she began, addressing Richard with formal respect, "the data on slide 17 showcasing the adaptive load balancing is truly impressive. Could you elaborate on the differential equation you used to model the thermal capacitance fluctuation in the tertiary coil subsystem? Specifically, how did you account for the nonlinear heat transfer coefficient change when operating at 15% below optimal load, given the initial system enthalpy constraints you mentioned earlier?" Richard froze. His smile faltered. The question was incredibly specific, delving into the deep, intricate core of Eleanor's innovation, a part he had never bothered to learn because he thought it was too granular. He stammered, "Well, the model leverages advanced predictive analytics to optimize for synergy." He was clearly making it up, sweating under the stage lights. Chloe didn't relent. "And what specific numerical integration method did you find most efficient for solving that particular equation in real time, considering the processing power limitations of the integrated microcontrollers?" She pressed, her voice clear and precise. Richard completely imploded. He babbled nonsense for another minute before a senior VP, who had always suspected Richard was a fraud, cut him off and thanked Chloe for her insightful questions. The entire room knew. Richard was exposed, a charlatan unmasked by a college student who simply understood her mother's work better than he did. He was demoted a week later, and quietly resigned a month after that. Eleanor was officially recognized for her Eleanor Eco Suite, given a substantial bonus, and promoted to lead her own innovation division. Chloe just smiled, a quiet, brilliant satisfaction in her eyes. It was the most satisfying act of quiet, intelligent revenge I've ever witnessed.